Hi guys, my name is Rishabh Jain and the Logical Owl. Hope you are having a great day today. In today's video, we are going to move forward with chapter 11, loan schedule, and we will mostly be doing question in this video today. So let's have a quick revision of what we learned in the earlier video. So in the previous video, we saw methods to calculate the interest and capital part of different installments. So let's say if I've been given a loan of L0 at time 0, and let's say I've taken this loan for n years, then now I know how to calculate the installment xt. I know how to calculate the capital part of any installment xt. I know how to calculate the capital part of any installment xt. And moreover, what I also know is that if I've been asked to calculate the interest paid over multiple installments, for example, if I've been asked to calculate the interest paid over these 5 years from time 2 to time 7, I can definitely calculate that also. So we'll first start this video by practicing some questions and seeing some examples from the chapters, and then we'll move on to the last topic of this video, or you can say this chapter, which is installments payable more frequently than annually. So we will not learn any new concept in that topic, and with that and after doing some questions, we'll end the video. So this was the some overview of the video today. So we start with first example. So in this example, we are told that the amount of 16,000 has been taken as loan for 10 years. And the interest rate applicable is 4% per annum effective. So whenever you face such kind of question, the first thing you have to do is calculate the installments, the amount of installment X. Now we are told that the installments are annually, level, and they are made in arrears. So these are the three things that you have to always look for in the question. First of all is whether the payments are level or not. So mostly you will be facing level installments. Second thing, you have to see whether the payments are arrears or not. And finally, you have to look what is the frequency of the payments. So in this example that we have taken, the installments are paid at the end of the year and the installments are level. So we are talking about here annual arrears installment. To calculate that, we'll first frame the equation of value, which will be 16,000 is equals to, let's say the payment is X annually and A 10. As simple as that, nothing new. If you calculate the value of A10 from the tables at 4%, you will find that your X will come out to be 1972.66. So in the first part of the question, we have to calculate interest element in the fourth installment. So the first part of the question asks you to calculate the interest part in the fourth installment. Now how will we calculate that? So the fourth installment will be paid at time 4, no doubt on that part. Before that there is time 3, and after that the time is 5. To calculate the interest part, first of all you must know that the X4, or you can say the fourth payment, is being paid at time 4, and that installment is for this year, that is the fourth year, and the starting of the fourth year is at point 3. So to calculate the interest on the fourth year, you will have to first know the amount, or you can say the loan outstanding amount after the time 3, or the payment at time 3. So we know that we denote it by L3. L3 is the amount of loan outstanding after the installment of time 3 is paid. So our L3 can be calculated as, we know that the installment amount is 1972.66, and since we are using the prospective method, which is generally easier to calculate, we'll use A7. Why A7? Because we are calculating the amount here. In prospective method, we'll look at the future cash flows. So there are total number of 7 future cash flows, starting from 1 here, 2 here, and the last will be at time 10, 7. So there are total number of 7 cash flows. So we can use this method to calculate our L3, which will be equal to, if you look at the table, the value will come out to be 6.0021 and your answer will be 118. So this amount 11,840 is the loan outstanding amount after the time third payment, or you can say this is the amount of loan that still need to be paid in the coming 7 years. Now we want to calculate the interest of this year. To calculate the interest for this year, we know that the loan outstanding after time 3 is this. So the interest part will be, you can call it B4. Your B4 will be 11,840 into the interest rate, which is 0.04. This is the multiplication sign, don't confuse it with X. So this will come out to be 473.6. So this is how we calculate the amounts. We move step by step, and yeah. So in the second part, we have to calculate the capital element. In the second part, we have to calculate the capital element of 7th payment. So your 7th payment will be at time 7. To calculate the capital part on the 7th payment, that is in this payment X7, first we have to consider the time duration for which this installment is paid. So since we are paying the installments in arrears, so this X7 is paid for this year, starting from time 6 and until time 7, that is the 7th year. So to calculate the amount of capital paid, you will need to calculate first L6 and then L7, and the difference of these two amounts will be the capital paid in this year. So to calculate L6, we'll again use the same concept again. The installment is same, 1972.66. Since we are calculating the amount at time 6 by prospective method, so we'll look into the future cash flows and we'll calculate the present value of those. So no doubt on that part too. If you see the value of A4 from the table at 4%, it will be 3.6299. So your L3 will be equal to 7160.55. So after the 6 year of payments, 6 payments, the amount that is being left from the original 16,000 loan is only 7160.55. So only this amount needs to be paid in the coming 4 years, and similarly we will calculate the L7, which will be 19. And the value of A3 will be, so your answer so we have calculated the L6 and L7. Now the difference, or you can say the capital in X7 equal to F7 equal to L6 minus L7. So you see, in the 7th installment of here, the 7th installment will be of 1972 again, no doubt. So if you observe, from this 1972.66 installment, 1686 rupees is just the capital part that is being paid for that year, and the rest part is obviously interest. So we move on. In the third part of the question, we are asked capital paid between time 3 and time 7. Now see, in this question they have directly asked and mentioned the time 3 and time 7. Generally you would be asked to calculate the capital between some time period. Instead of time period, you will be given some years, like calculate the capital part in the last 4 years, or between the time 5th and 7th year. You will be given the question like that. But here they have directly mentioned to calculate the capital repaid between time 3 and time 7. So time 3 and time 7, to calculate the capital part, you will have to look at the amount here L3 and L7, because you are calculating the capital paid for this region starting from 3 and ending from 7. That means year 4, year 5, year 6 and year 7. You are calculating the capital paid in these 4 years. So please give it a try. I am not solving this part for you. You try yourself. You can pause the video here right now, or you can do it later. But I will recommend you that you do this part right now here, because you have the figures written in the book and in the earlier part of the video. You can verify your answer from the book, and we see our next part. So in the fourth part of the question, we are asked to calculate capital repaid in the last 5 years. So since the amount of the loan, or you can say the tenure of the loan is 10 years, so last 5 years will look like something. First, second, third, fourth and fifth. So these times time starting from 5 and ending in time 10 is the last 5 years. So to calculate the capital paid in these last 5 years, we'll first calculate L5, then we will calculate L10, and the difference of these two figures will be the capital repaid in this duration. Now pause the video again and tell me what is the value of L10. So if you guessed 0, you are right, because L10 is the value of loan outstanding after the last payment. And since we have calculated the installment as per the 10 years time, so we know this value is going to be 0. Now we calculate L5. So the value of L5 will be the present value of future payments. That means payments here, 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 and last payment at time 10. So the value of their total number of 5 payments, so it will be A5, and when you calculate this value, it will be $8781.93, and your capital paid in last 5 years will be the difference of 8781.93 minus 0 equal to. So after the fifth payment, after paying the fifth installment X5, the loan outstanding is 8781.93. So this is the amount that you will pay in these 5 years by the installments. In the last part of the question, it is asking to calculate the interest paid over the whole loan amount. Again, it is a very simple question again. So last part we have to calculate the total interest paid. So first of all, calculate the total amount paid in these 10 years, which will be equal to the total number of total amount of installment paid, and that is 10 into then we calculate the total amount of capital paid, and obviously total amount of capital is just the original capital that we borrowed, that is 16,000. So the difference that we are paying, extra amount that is paying, is the interest part. So if we subtract this amount, we get 3726 as interest that is being paid in these 10 years. So this is how the questions are going to be in the examinations, but in exam style questions you will face a different kind of problem. The direct questions are hardly tested in the exams, so we'll practice exam style questions later. So next topic that we are going to cover, and it is the last topic, is installments payable more frequently than annually. So until we have seen a simple loan setting where an amount is borrowed at time 0 and we pay an installment at the end of every time period for n time periods. Now what I'm telling you, until now we have considered these time periods to be years. We have always talked about years, and we have paid installments at the end of every year in arrears. But now let's say if we are paying installments at the end of every month, or for example at the end of every quarter, then there is nothing new that's going to be changing. Only thing that's going to be changing is your interest rate. In the examples until now, we were using interest rate I for one time period. Why? Because the difference of these two time periods was 1 year. That's why we were using the whole interest rate I. Now if let's suppose I have taken a loan for 10 years. If let's say I've taken a loan for 10 years, so 10 years means I'm paying total number of 120 installments. So this time is 120. So my first installment will be here, second will be here, third here, and so on. And the time difference between these units, between 0 and 1, 1 and 2 and 2 and 3, is 1 month, because I am paying my installments monthly. So the rate that I am going to use between time 1 and 2, 2 and 3 and so on will be my effective monthly rate. That will be I12 upon 12. So you can follow the same procedure that you have followed until now. You can similarly calculate all the values of the capital paid, interest paid. So what you have to do, instead of calculating it in years time, you have to calculate in number of installments, that is number of months or number of quarters. So that way you can always calculate the required amounts. Another option that you have is you still use years as your time periods. Let's say we have quarterly payments, and so on, the payments are going up until time 10, and we are paying an equal installment, level installment at the end of every quarter. Now to calculate these kind of value, the equation of value will be something like this: x0 equal to, let's say the amount is x, so x a10, and you will write this a little bit of 4 in bracket above this notation to denote that the payments are made in quarters, in arrears. So you can use either use this symbol A410, or you can divide the whole timeline into total number of 4 into 10, that is 40 payments, and you can use this value, or use y. You can use this method. Only difference is that here you will use interest rate I, and here you will be using interest rate I12 upon 12. So this concept has already been covered in the part of annuities chapter, so we are not going to use or understand this concept again. If you have any doubt in this concept, you can refer to my earlier video on annuities payable more frequently than annually. So now we'll jump to questions again. So in the first example, we have a loan of 900 rupees for 3 years. And P equal to 12. P equal to 12 means there are 12 payments in a year. and we are given I equal to 18.5%. So our payments are something like this: monthly payments till time 1, then time 2, and then time 3. So to calculate the amount, we can always use our we have always have two methods. We'll see first method. Method 1 is equation of value will be 900 equal to, since we have 12 payments and let the amount be x, so 12 x A3 12. So we are not breaking the time into months and we are just using the years unit. So we can calculate this by 12x1 minus V3 upon I12, and your I12 will be your interest rate is given 18% into 12. So this will be your I12. And when you calculate the amount x from this equation, you will get x equals to 32.13. In the second method, what you can do, in the second method you will break the payments into months. So there will be total number of 36 payments and let the amount be m at the end of every month. So the equation of value will be 900 equal to m 836 at the rate of 1.424%. And how do we calculate this 1.424%? This is how we calculate it. 1.424% is our I12 by 12. So our I12 by 12 will be 1.424% or 0.01424. So if you use this method again, your answer will be m equal to 32.13. So you may find that I am going a little bit fast in this question because we have already covered these type of topic. There is nothing new. We are just solving an annuity and we are calculating the value of that annuity. So if you have problem in these type of question, you can refer to my previous video again, and there you will find some questions and you can practice those too. Coming to our next example. We have to calculate, okay, the example is, this example is continuing, but the next part says to calculate interest and capital of 13th installment. Installment, 13 installments, interest and capital part. So our 13th installment will be at time 13. This is time 12 and this is time 14. So to calculate the capital part first of 13 installment, the payment here will be for this time period. So we'll calculate L12 and then we'll calculate L13, and the difference of these two terms will be the capital paid in the installment 13th. So L12 is the payment at the end of the first year. So we can calculate our L12 as, because 12th payment will be at the end of 12th month and 12th month is just the end of first year. So we can calculate the value as 32.13. We are again using the prospective method. So if you use prospective method, the future payments are, total number of payments are 36 and we are calculating the value on time 12. So future payment will be 24. So you can use this method at the rate of, please take care of the rate. If you use the wrong rate, the answer is going to be incorrect. So we can calculate this way. Your answer will be 649.25. And if you use the other way, method 2, then what you will do 32.13 into 12 A2 12 at the rate of 18.5%. You can use this method also. In this method, the value will be solved like this. The value of A2 12 will be A2 into I upon I12. So the answer will again be 649.25. So this 649.25 is the total amount of capital paid in the 13th installment, and we have already calculated the, I'm sorry, this is not the capital part, we are just calculating the outstanding value, sorry. So this L12 is the loan outstanding at time 12, and this its value is 649.25. Now we'll calculate L13 similar way, or you can do to calculate the interest part in this 13th installment. Since you have calculated the L12 value, so the interest in this year between 12 and 13 will be on amount L12. So the interest in 13th part or D13 will be 649.25 into interest rate of 1 month 0.01424. So this amount will be 9.25. So this is the interest part in 13th installment. Now to calculate F13, which will be X13 minus B13. So F13 is the capital part in the 13th installment. We know the installments are 32.13 every month and the interest part is 9.25. So the capital part in the 13th installment is left is 22.85. Or the second method to calculate capital directly is you first calculate L13. Your L13 will be equal to 32.13 A23 at the rate 1.424%. Your answer will be 626. So you can calculate interest part from here also. F13 will be equal to 649.25 minus 626.40, which will be equal to 22.85. See, the answer is same. So whether you use the first method for calculating the capital part or this method, the answer is going to be same. Now we do another question. In this question, the loan amount is 4,000. Effective interest rate is 7%. Loan amount is 4,000. Interest is 7% per annum effective, and the loan is for 5 years and total payment frequency is 12. That means payments are paid at the end of every month. We have to calculate interest and capital paid in the 4th year. So these are the years and the payments are made monthly like this. So 4th year is at time 4, 4th year this year, ending at time 4 and starting at time 3. This is the 4th year. Now we have to calculate the interest, total amount of interest paid in this whole year. So there will be 12 payments in the 4th year since the payments are made at the end of every year. So what we'll do? First we'll calculate the value of X, that is the installment, or we can call it M now because X is very confusing with the multiplication sign. So our equation of value will be 4,000. Since we are paying 12 payments, so 12M, and payments are for 5 years and monthly payments. So this is our equation at the rate of 7%. Or you can use the other method also. Okay. So the amount of x, your m will be. Now how will you calculate this A512? You can calculate this A512 as A5. If the 7% rate is given in tables, you can use this method A5 into I upon I12. If this is not given in tables, then you can always solve this value directly as 1 minus V5 upon I12. So these both are the same thing. So our M will be equal to 78.8. This is the installment that will pay at the end of every month for 5 years. Now to calculate the amount of interest paid between time 3 and time 4. So time 3 is what? Time 3 are 36th installment, and time 4 is what? 48th installment, because they are total number of 12 payments in a year. So by the end of third year we'll have paid 36th installment, and by the end of fourth year we'll have paid 48 installments. So first we'll calculate L3, or you can call it L36, and L4 or L. So if you are using the first method where you are taking the time units at year, you can call it L3, and if you are using the second method where you are using the time period of months, you can call it L36. So our L3 will be 78.12 into 12. This is the total amount paid in 1 year, and from the table you will find so the value of L3 will be 1763.84, and the value of L4 will be this will be so the total amount of capital paid between time 3 and time 4, or the total amount of capital paid between 36th installment and 48th installment is L3 minus L4. Which is equals to, so you have paid 852.09 as capital in this whole year, and to calculate the interest, first to calculate the total amount that you have paid in this year. So total amount paid in this whole year will be 12 into 78.12, and total capital paid 852.09. If you subtract from this, you get the total amount of interest paid. So this is how we do the question in this chapter. Your exam style questions are going to be very different from these questions. In those questions in exam, you will have to restructure the loan schedule. You will have to reduce the time or term of the loan. So we will do those questions in next video, and we'll practice some of the questions. So your task for today is you read the chapter completely, you understand the concept well, and you practice all the questions that are given at the back of the chapter. Because in my next video, I will be showing you the working of 2 questions, and I will be explaining you completely how to solve the question in exam, how to tackle the question in exam in the least time possible. So do prepare yourself for next class, and practice all the questions at the back. I will pick any 1 or 2, 3 questions, and I will solve them completely and show you everything. So thank you guys, thanks for watching the video. See you guys in next video.